How you doing? This is Lou Cardillo, Cardillo Company.
This is Dominick DiFilippo with Cardillo Company.
Today we'd like to talk to you about what the most important jobs are for business owners and people in leadership. I think that regardless if you're in real estate or in any business between the pizza shop owner, there are certain key things that the business owner needs to focus on, and those are things that we are going to talk about today.
Right.
So, I guess to get started, if you're a business owner thinking of starting a business, what do you think is the most important thing to do? Most people think about all the tasks that need to be done. They think about all the what's that need to happen, I mean like what I need to do, what I need to do, what I need to do to get your business off the ground. But the most successful people in business think more about who's going to do that, who am I going to hire, who can do that for me, who can do that better than me. You know, if I'm going to go spend 20 hours on building my website because I want to save a few dollars, or even say save $2,000, now I got to learn to build a website for 20 hours when you could just go hire someone to do that for you. Does that make sense? So that's one thing. Second thing is lead generation. Whether you own a pizza shop or you're in real estate or anything in between, you got to generate leads. Leads convert to customers. So if you own the business and your job is to bring people into your door, how do you get those people into your door? As those people get into your door, who's going to service those people? Is that you while you're making pizzas in the back? You're going to serve people at the tables, or are you going to come up behind the counter and focus working on your business? So those are the things we're going to talk about today. So as the owner of the company, my job is to, I believe my job here is to provide capital for the business to run, to provide accountability to Dominick and the team, and to provide the vision for the company, along with finding, hiring talent, and helping Dominick fulfill his goals through the vision and helping him kind of like a goalie, like keep him kicking back into play because when you're working, this is the thing, when you're inside the business, you're working inside the four walls of something, you really can't see the forest from the trees all the time. So when you're working in the business versus on it, it's hard to do both. So if you have somebody working more on it than in it, we can critique and help each other grow the company together. And I think any business should run that way. So the guy who's in the back making pizzas and he owns a business really can't see the intricacies going on, like when the customers are having challenges with the waitress or things like that. And I don't know why I keep relating to a pizza shop. Maybe I'm just hungry because it's lunchtime. But things like that. So I just want you to like break it down to really understand, no matter what business you're in, somebody needs to be the person running it on top and being the guy inside. And so with that, Dominick, what do you think?
I agree. I mean, it's all. It doesn't matter what size business it is. It doesn't matter how many employees there are.
Right.
It could be 2 employees. There could be 1,000. All right. There's a you have to leverage yourself out to have a bird's eye view of what's going on day in and day out. I mean, it's the only way to successfully do something, right? How are you going to generate more business if you're spinning dough all day?
Spinning dough. How you gonna make more dough when you're making dough?
Exactly. Right. So, and a big key element of that is finding the employees, the right people to do so, which is not an easy process, right? It's a lot of trial and error.
Yep.
Unless you hit the nail on the head the first time around, right? But it's going to take some time. It's going to take a lot of fine tuning, but at the end of the day, when you do find the right people in the right roles, it should run like a well-oiled machine.
Right, and the most part where people fail is, I believe, piggybacking on that, is that most people don't want to take their time out of the day to go hire someone. They don't want to take time out of the day to go teach someone to do this when they feel that they can do it faster. But when I started building my business, actually stepping back and putting people in place, one, it's still to this day is challenging because you always got to find and hire talent. You got to put them through a recruitment process. You got to make sure your vision is lined up. And then even if all that works, you think you nailed it, within 90 days, you can figure out that person's the right person. And then let's say that person fails and you're like, okay, not the right person. You either find another role for them or you get out of business together. But then now you're back at it again, where you're saying, crap, I could have spent that time On my emails, I have a thing that says time is our most valuable commodity. I've learned a long time ago that no matter how much money you have, the one thing we all have, you hear it, you all have the same amount of seconds in a day, and
Right.
so time is very valuable. So if I'm going to spend my time somewhere, where am I going to make the most impact? And I do believe even if we do fail by hiring the wrong person, or that person fails us because maybe we shortcut the process or whatever the case is. Now we got to get back into it. So, and most people don't want to do that. They don't want to step out of the money making to go do that. Right. So, and then the other thing I want to say to that is, let's say you have two people who founded the company together. You have co-founders. What's really, if anybody listening to this or watching this has founded anything with somebody else, you need to sit down right away. I don't care if it's husband and wife, or husband and husband, or wife and wife. I don't care what it is. You need to sit down with a pad and delineate, okay, your role is CEO, my role is marketing director. Whatever that's going to be, but regardless of titles are stupid, forget the titles, but you need to know what your roles are on a daily basis. So if, let's just say that you founded a company with someone and this person is the marketing person, and you're more of the office and operations person. Mm-hmm. If someone comes to you with some sort of marketing idea, don't start jumping on it because you feel like you need to have that conversation. Pass it to that person, get back to what you're supposed to be doing. And I see a lot of companies do fail, or a lot of small businesses fail when when no one knows their roles and they start falling over each other. Outside of hiring talent, what do you think is the next biggest piece for your business? Because you can have all the talent in the world that you want, but what else do you need? And what would that be?
Business. Leads.
Okay, and what does that consider? Yes, leads. And what does leads convert to?
Leverage.
Oh, no. Well, okay. No, leads convert. The leverage is the people. All the right. Leads are customers. Yeah. So I'm thinking of the pizza shop owner, the guy who owns the pizza shop. He needs leads, or she needs leads. However, that converts to customers. So you can have, what the heck is that saying? That people like overly prepare for things. You people overly prepare and try to open up the best restaurant in the world. But the one thing they forgot about doing was getting people in the door. So they put all this stuff out there. They spend $300,000 building out this beautiful place. But the one thing they forgot, they're like, oh, we're going to open the doors and they build it and they will come mentality. Mm. They forgot the key importance was, maybe I should have spent X amount of money dollars in marketing to get customers here. Right. So they spend all this money on building beautiful, right. And then 6 months later the place is closed because nobody knew it even existed. Mm-hmm. Or they get people in the door. They didn't hire the right talent to run that place for them, and people don't go back because of poor customer service. Right. What are your thoughts?
I wanted to touch base on analysis paralysis.
Yes, that's a good way to say it.
If you're in, let's use real estate because that's what we know. I'm a solo agent. I'm growing rapidly, but I'm not growing rapidly. I don't have the capital today to hire a full-time administrative assistant, $30,000, $40,000, whatever it is. So instead of doing that, I stay in my role and I stay working on the 80% of the business I should be leveraging myself out. Mm-hmm. So they're stuck in that mindset where I can't spend this $40,000 to hire this role, right? So I'm going to stay here, and then you plateau. Your 24 hours, you have to duplicate it, and then duplicate that, and so on and so forth. But if you don't take that first step in hiring your first, to take yourself out of it, it's just never going to grow in the way it should grow, right? So
on like that hockey stick, right? The where it can just grow and go up. So the one good thing about real estate, the one bad thing about real estate is really kind of easy to get a real estate license. Mm-hmm. And they say...
That's a really bad thing about real estate.
It's too easy to get a real estate license, number one.
Yes.
Two, it's pitched like, and if you want to just sell 5, 6, 7 houses a year and do your own thing, great. Get into real estate cheaply. Do your own thing. Don't hire anybody. Make a few $1,000s a month. Pay for vacations or college, a few dollars in college, whatever. But that's like make sure you're like a hobby. You could do that. And this conversation is not for those people. But if you want to build a business, I've really never seen a business where you can get into for under $1,000 and just think that you're going to do everything yourself.
Right.
Like any other business out there, for the most part, that I'm thinking, you got to actually invest money into it. So it's, when you get into real estate, you should have money in the bank. You should. I think from day one, and I didn't do it this way. I worked my way to success. Kind of. I worked till I made money, and then I hired the admin. But back then, I didn't know any better. Back in 2002, when I hired my first admin or something like that. But what I would have done was came into real estate, have money in the bank, hire my admin from day one. Because if you have the admin there, start doing stuff for you right off day one, even if you had zero business, you're now held accountable by that admin. I'm not saying full time, it could be part time, but now you're held accountable because you got to pay a salary to that person, and then as you're paying a salary to that person, you got to make sure that you keep them employed, and then you got to make money for yourself. So now all you're focusing on is your top 20%, which is getting buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you don't have that person, you can go kind of hide between things, go work on the 80% with the analysis paralysis kind of stuff. You're perfecting your listing appointment. You're perfecting your buyer presentation.
Right.
You're perfecting all this stuff, and you're so nervous about getting in front of a buyer or seller. Meanwhile, you're spending all your time and effort and doing all this crap. It doesn't matter. Just get in front of that buyer or seller and learn that way. Like, get immersed in the experience. Like they say, the best way to learn a language, you could use like Dabble or Babbler and things like that. But the best way to do it is what? Immersion. You want to learn to speak Spanish or a different language? Go to that country for 6 months. You'll come back speaking that language.
Right.
Get immersed in it. Don't sit there and try to overanalyze stuff.
Yeah.
And most people do that, right?
Yeah. A lot of people are hobbyists. I want to create a podcast. I want to be a real estate agent. I want to open up I don't know. It doesn't matter what it is, but the entrepreneurship is so hot. It is so cool to put I'm an entrepreneur in my social media profiles, and it's all, I would say 80% of it's garbage. Yeah. It's just it's cool to say, it's cool to flaunt it, but if there's a select few that actually do it. Right. And you're either in or you're out. And the only way to get in is to hire that admin. Now I need to pay this person I need to make a lot of money to justify this salary and at least pay this person, right? So now I need to 10x that. Right. Now you're holding, as an entrepreneur, nobody's holding you accountable. Exactly. You're your own boss. You can do whatever you want. You can wake up at noon. Yeah. It's an amazing life. But if you wake up at noon, if you don't do this, you don't do that, and you just post to social media, boss life with a picture of a coffee mug in the morning. It's what most people do. Go. That's all the money you're going to make. And then you got people watching going, oh, I wish I had his life or her life. Yep. And it's like, oh. Meanwhile, all they're doing all day is perfecting the perfect life in their mind. Exactly. And it's a saying that I learned a long time ago, like, you're living that perfect life in your mind, you're actually living that life. Right. So is it just you living it up here, or is it actually happening? So it's action versus actually thinking it, I guess, something like that. Right. A lot of successful entrepreneurs I see, I never see it. I never see the boss life, this, that. I mean, you're just working. They just work. And that's why I don't really honestly do this stuff a lot, because I'm fucking busy doing other shit. Yeah. I'm just busy doing everything, just running a lot of businesses and overseeing. And the only way that I can keep people in business and keep my family successful and keep my life and income is by being able to, I guess, task shift from leading through you to lead Cardillo, leading through Mark to lead Keller Williams, leading through my people in Florida for the resort, leading through this people for my vacation club, this person for the timeshares, the apartments. Like, there's no way I could do all that myself. No, it's impossible. It's just basically being the person on top and being there for them when they need. And that's all I do all day, is like constantly mentor and talk and teach and figure things out with people. Right. But that's the life I choose and want to have. I don't believe there's anything wrong if you want something really small and just want to do like this little thing here, but don't come look at me, or not me in person, but someone who's doing it at a much higher level and go, oh, I want that, but you're not willing to put in the work that it takes to get there. Mm-hmm. You ever see that, like that drawing, whatever, it's like the iceberg theory, where they see like the pinnacle, but they got all the shit underneath here. Yeah, it's like, you want this. Oh, you like they watch a movie, even like with an actor, like, oh my God, Matthew McConaughey, he's so amazing, but
where did he start and how did he get there? You didn't see all this that took him to get there.
Right.
You just see him up here, or Al Pacino, or any of these other guys out there, or women, whatever. But that's what you want. They see overnight success in 10 years or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But all that work people take to get there. What about all the million other people who started businesses and failed? All the other people wanted to get into acting and never got that far because they packed up their bags and went home.
Right.
Just said, I can't do this.
Right.
But so you really don't want it. It's like, how bad do you want it?
Right.
So back to real estate. One thing you said resonated with me, where I said early, it's very cheap to get into real estate, but also people, you say this on why'd you get into real estate? They say, oh, I want to, and that's actually one of the reasons I got into real estate. I want to be my own boss. I want to make my own hours. I didn't want to answer to anybody. I also wanted to wear a suit where I didn't have to go to college to wear a suit. So I said, I could wear a suit by selling real estate. However, with all that said, I worked like an animal, 80 hours a week. There are people out there who don't hold themselves accountable. They're their own boss, which is good, but also it's bad, like you said, where they can hide now and they can just sleep till 12 o'clock. Like, we're up really early in the morning. Most realtors don't, you can't text them before 9 o'clock because they're just still rolling out of bed. But whatever, you want that life, it's fine. But, being your own boss is not always cracked up to be, because if you have nobody that you're holding accountable that's working for you, or you don't have a big vision or have other people that you got to support, you can easily get caught up in just not doing what you're supposed to do. So I learned this saying a long time ago, which is actually one of the things that always sticks to me. Like, there are certain jobs that need to be done on a daily basis. Let's say lead generation, marketing, business building, whatever it is. Most people don't have all those triggers happening because they've got to do it themselves. So the thing is, just because you're not going to do it doesn't mean the job doesn't happen. Just because you can't do it, that doesn't mean the job just doesn't happen. Be like, oh, I'm supposed to lead gen today for 2 hours. And because you're picking up the laundry, doing some of your kids, whatever the case is, it doesn't mean that job doesn't happen. So you got to figure out, how does that job continue to happen while you're doing other stuff? Because if you want to build something, like, Jeff Bezos doesn't go, I'm going to take off for a month or a week, and then like he just shuts down customer service and be like, I can't have customer service. We can't sell products on Amazon today because the guy who owns the company wants to go on vacation or needs to go pick up his laundry. Like, businesses aren't built that way. So things have to happen. And that doesn't have to be as big as Amazon. It could be just you and one other person.
Right.
But figure out who's going to do that job when you're not doing it.
Right.
And that's what we do really well. We figure out who's built for the role. How can we help them hit their goals through us? How can they help us hit our goals? How do we make it a win-win? And how do people stay in their lane? And one last thing I want to say, I'll give the floor back to you. Another bad thing about realtors is that once you get a real estate license, that license says you can do whatever you want. You can sell commercial, you can sell residential, you can sell warehouse, you can do work with buyers, you can work with sellers. I think real estate licenses should be designated. Like, okay, just like when you become like a stockbroker or something, like you start in like that boiler room concept. You start here and then you move up and then you move up. It's like a mentorship thing or something. But you can't make the trades until you do this. So I'm not saying it should be like boiler room like that, but what it should be is that, hey, you shouldn't be like just all over the place. It should be like, this is where you focus. Once you work with buyers and tune that thing up and do well, then boom, now you move to sellers. But most agents don't. I mean, the seller side of the coin is always the highest leverage. We understand that. But most people who work with most buyers will work with brokers and cut them more slack than a seller will. So or you come in and say, hey, I'm going to work with sellers. Just focus on that. That's fine. But pick something. Work with buyers or work with sellers. And if you're going to work with the sellers, hire someone to be your partner to work with the buyers for you. If you're going to work with the buyers, hire someone to work with your sellers. Because the guy who sells the house isn't really the same guy that's going to do a great job working on the buy side. The guy who works on the buy side of the house really probably isn't going to be a great person to do the sell side. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely do. And if you're, what I see every day is in real estate is there's a lot of, I keep talking about it as this hobbyist, man. Some people have a bad perception of real estate agents because there's so many, and it's like, oh, I'm just going to get my real estate license. I'm not, it's not a hobby. It's a career, and as it should be.
Yep.
right? So either you're in, you're out, right?
You're putting
so,
your biggest purchase asset in the hands of someone.
yeah,
It shouldn't be the person who's just, because you're friendly with them. I mean, yes, relationship matters,
right,
but however, I don't want to talk bad about agents or their hobbyists, but
right.
I do agree that people should do a little more in-depth research before they decide to put the. Listen, if you had to cut a check to a realtor for fucking 20 grand up front before you put the house in the market, they would do more research. But because it's commission based and it's time based,
Right.
the ones that need to sell faster might do a little more. But the ones who are just like, let's try to sell the house and let's see, and then it comes down to commission and they're not paying a dime up front. It allows the realist, the seller, to then kind of make some bad decisions.
Right.
But if someone said, hey, cut me a check right now for 10, 15, 20 grand before you get into business, watch how fast those sellers or even buyers would interview harder.
Right.
They should interview us just as much as we're interviewing them, because we know that when we go on listing presentations and work with buyers, we interview. See, and when you build a business, you have a lot of listings, you work with a lot of buyers. We can pick and choose who we want to do business with, right?
Right.
But the newer agents will just take anything. Oh, we think the house is worth 5? No, we want to put it on for 7. Oh, great, sign right here.
Right.
With us, it's like, do we want to waste our time with this person that may not be realistic when we can go focus on 3 more people who want our services?
Right,
so it's more attractive based, right?
Yeah, of course. And I think last thing I want to touch base on is if you're going to be a successful entrepreneur and you have 0 people holding you accountable, first of all, find somebody to hold you accountable. Is it your spouse? Is it your mom? Is it your dad? Is it your brother? Is it your dog? Doesn't matter who it is. Find somebody to hold you accountable. Even if they're not actively holding you accountable, pretend like they are.
Yeah.
Like I'm working for my wife. I'm working for, so my wife doesn't have to, right? And you need a structure in the mornings. You do. You cannot half-ass it and wake up at noon. Read some books. There's a book called Miracle Equation by Hal Elrod. It's the second edition to Miracle Morning.
Miracle Morning, yeah.
It talks about structuring your morning perfectly, and that's one way to obtain the goals you set out for yourself. Read these entrepreneurial books. I mean, you're going to pick up a nugget here and there from each one, splice them together, make it your own, but it starts in the morning. I was never a morning person. Ever.
No? I
hated the mornings.
Really?
I hated it. I used to fall asleep through my first period class in high school, everything. But when I'm like, all right, this is it. This is the life, entrepreneur. Now it's 5 a.m., gym, come home, meditate, visualize, do a half-hour reading. I flip over my little sand thing. Yeah. And then if your day isn't set up, your afternoon's gonna suck.
We're gonna talk about these in a minute.
I like this. I give myself 30 minutes. But if you don't structure your morning, it's just gonna snowball into your afternoon. You're gonna not do what you needed to do. You're gonna be like, shit, I needed to do this at 8 a.m. I need to do this at 10 a.m. And you're gonna keep going backwards and backwards and backwards, and then you're gonna rinse and repeat the next day.
And then it's like you get into a cycle where you like feel like you failed. You're right. It's gonna happen over and over again. But when you don't do what you need to do, you're gonna feel like boom, wow, I didn't do that. Then you get up the next day, it's gonna be just like this roller coaster ride.
Yep, absolutely.
And most people actually do that. They just continuously fail on a daily basis. And reading is definitely a key, but I think, or I believe, with the reading, you have to implement. You have to take action. You can't just read a book and go, wow, that's great. Right. Okay, and then just not do it, because then that's just being trying to gain knowledge. Right. But knowledge without action is just what is it? Knowledge, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. There's reading, and then there's active reading. Right.
Yeah.
So it may take me some days. I'll read 30 pages, 40 pages a day, but then other days, the same time slot. Other days I might read 10, 15 because I'm getting information from these 10, 15 pages. I'm writing in the book. It's your book. What are you going to do? Resell it? I'm writing in the book.
And if you do, I like buying books that were written in because I'm like, oh, cool. Yeah. Everyone's used it, has highlighting all over. I want that book because he just did half the job for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But anyway, so last thing I want to mention, time is our most valuable commodity. Sand timers could be your greatest, could be one of your greatest things in life. Let's say you want to lead generate for 15 minutes or 30 minutes. buy these sand timers. I got them on Amazon. There's actually a 1 minute one. I actually
Use the code Cardillo at checkout.
yeah, use Cardillo at checkout. But listen, you wanna focus on doing something for 30 minutes. Turn your phone off and do all that stuff. Say, great, okay, I'm going to lead generate now. We'll do the 15-minute one because that's when we're running.
Right.
I'm going to lead generate 15 minutes. Start your lead gen, turn your 15-minute timer over, and just do what you need to do for 15 minutes.
Right.
It's the easiest way to keep yourself accountable. Somebody wants to meet you and say, hey, Lou, you got a minute? How many people tell you, hey, you got a minute? Oh, that's why they took my 1 minute timer. Because I used to turn it over. Yeah, I got a minute, go. Because and I would turn it over for 1 minute. Now they took it on me because they don't give enough time. So now I get 3 minutes. You got a minute? Yeah, great, go. So, and how many times did someone say they got a minute and they don't really take a minute? Those got a minutes turn to half hours, right? So someone comes and says, hey, you got a minute? Yeah, go, what's up? You give them 3 minutes. And they talk, and then they'll get to their point because most people just want to talk about everything and they're just waste 90% of the conversation on stuff that doesn't matter to you. Right. Just get to the point, give you 3 minutes, let's go. Anyway, that's that. So, thank you for tuning in today. I appreciate it. Again, this is Lou Cardillo, Cardillo Company.
This is Dominick DiFilippo with Cardillo Company. Peace.